about GI tags. This slide is about GI tags. Nowadays, very commonly used term. You can hear. Uh, well, GI tags stands for geographical indication tags, and it is also a kind of method of protecting intellectual property rights. Uh, GI tags are basically applicable to the products which are specific to geographical locations or territory. Okay, these are the products which have specific origin or a specific quality based on the geographical location. For example, the Banarsi sari, okay, or the famous Odisha Rasgulla. Okay, so these are specific products are there. Okay, based on the specific geographical locations. So normally, people or society they register for GI tags, and these products are marked with the GI tags when they are sold. Uh, well, why these are used? If you see, in order to protect the interest of original producers, okay, uh, the product for the products basically it is which have original qualities and features. Okay, say for example, Banarsi sari embroidery and all that silk and everything, it has a unique feature. Okay, the Odisha Rasgulla, wow, it's amazing. That kind of flavor and the kind of texture of Rasgulla that is specific to the place. Okay, uh, uh, these using the GI indication tags are a method to preserve the manufacturing skill. Okay, say for example, the Bikaner famous Bikaner bhujia. Okay, or say for example the famous pashmina shawls. Okay, a weaving method of pashmina shawls or making of Bikaner bhujia. Okay, the recipe of bhujia. Okay, these are very specific. Okay, so in order to preserve that the skill how these products are prepared, GI tags are used. Okay, it is a method to improve the quality of life of native producers. See, what happens is if you protect the skill of a local place or a territory, okay, ultimately the product becomes more popular, okay, because of the place. Okay, more and more people will go and buy that particular product. Okay, say for example, Kanjivaram saris. Okay, people will go and buy from the South India the Kanjivaram sari. Okay, so the products, what happens is when you go and buy the product from the native place, from the native producers, okay, their quality of life will improve. Otherwise, what happens? Kanjivaram sari, if somebody starts preparing in New Delhi or in they start weaving in Ahmedabad, see the originality or the thing, the features and all that, everything will be there in even in Ahmedabad sari or Delhi sari. But the what happens is the efforts and the kind of investment done by the native people will be undermined. Okay, so in order to protect their investment, in order to protect their skills, um, you require a GI tag for the product. Okay, so when if somebody is using a GI tag, that means that the product is authentic of the place. Okay, so that means a person from Ahmedabad, a person from Delhi cannot use the same GI tag. Okay, so what happens is it is a kind of a method to tackle the unlawful competition of local products. Okay, so we have certain laws in order to protect GI uh, geographical indications. Okay, with the product. One is Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999. Then we have rules related to that. In 2002 is the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Rules 2002. So these two laws actually protect the geographical indications of native products. Okay, there are different categories of GI tags under which the tags are assigned. So you have a GI tag for food stuff, you have GI tag for agricultural products, you have GI tag for handicraft, you have GI tag for textiles. Okay, you have GI tags for manufacturing. Like Rasgulla goes in food stuff. Okay, whereas Banarsi sari goes in handicraft. Okay, so you have different categories of GI tags if you go to the website of Government of India. And if you want to register, it is registered, means you can register for a GI tag at Registrar Geographical Indications Registry, Intellectual Property Office building, that is in Chennai. This is a GI certificate finally issued for Rasgulla. I have taken it from Wikipedia. You can see this certificate, and finally you get this kind of certificate. One of the very close to our heart is the topic that under intellectual property right is copyright. Uh, Coming to copyright, basically, copyright is an idea to provide due credit to the one responsible for work. Okay, so it is a mechanism through which we give credit to an author, to a designer, okay, or to a dramatist, or whoever is responsible for a literary work. Okay, uh, it gives you a concept, an idea what one should do or what one should not do with the work of a person. Okay, uh, the concept it is a concept to make creator aware about his rights. Okay, so creator should know what rights he has on any kind of literary work, whatever he produces. Okay, and it gives a kind of awareness to the common man or the public or the parties who are using the work of the creator. Okay, I'm not using the word author in general. Basically, I'm using the word creator because, see, when we talk about copyright or literary work, it doesn't restrict, it is not restricted to a kind of written work. Okay, there are different kinds of products. You have songs, you have movies, you have dramas, you have lectures. Okay, so that is why that is why the word creator is the most fitting word which is being used. Normally what happens is, if you don't register for a copyright, the moment you generate a work, a literary work, the copyright is automatically it is applicable with the work. Okay, so you really don't need to bother yourself about registering your work. Okay, uh, so normally when we talk about copyright law, okay, copyright laws are meant for protecting unauthorized exploitation of any kind of literary work, dramatic work, okay, musical work, academic work, okay, artistic work, including objects of visual arts, cinematograph, films, movies, recordings, and so on. Well, in India, we have Copyright Act 1957. Okay, and then we have subsequent rules of copyright rules of 2003. I have given the hyperlink of both the documents, you can go and view. We'll go to Act and have a look to it. You see, it is on Copyright Go. It is on Copyright Go. I think we should go there. Oh, one sec, I will just copy this and we'll try to follow it. Yeah, you see, here we have, okay, I think I need to read this. Yeah. So you can see here, this is the whole document of Act, whole document of Copyright Act. Similarly, if we go back, we have rules related to copyright rules 2003. You have different chapters. If you want to go in detail, you can go to different chapters and then you can see different rules. This chapter talks about chapter 2 talks about the copyright board. Then chapter 3 talks about relinquishment of copyrights. So you have online all the documents available if you wish to get into detail. Mostly what happens is there is a lot confusion about what is the length of copyright. Okay, so normally the length of copyright is the lifetime of author. Okay, an author or a creator gets lifetime protection of copyright on his creation. Okay, uh, after his death, it is 60 years from the next calendar year to his successors. It goes. Okay, so normally what happens is it is lifetime plus 60 years after his death. The copyright protection is there. After that, it goes in public domain. Coming to need of copyright, why we really need copyright, because normally we don't register for copyright, but again, it protects your identity as a creator. Okay, if you prepare a product, if you prepare a kind of creation, like a very beautiful picture or photograph, you must have an identity associated with it. Okay, it gives you a kind of recognition in the society uh, that such and such photograph or painting has been done by so and so. Say, for example, composition by Ravi Shankar. Okay, the great sitar maestro. Okay, so it gives a kind of recognition to them. Okay, uh, it draws a balance between public and individual interest. If because if copyright is there, your rights are protected, or you must get the due credit. Okay, by whoever is using your work, your literary work. Okay, so even when we are writing an article, unless we give the proper references for the work, or we give the citations which we have used in our work, it doesn't hold good. Okay, then what happens is ultimately, for a creator or for an academic purpose and all that, it is a kind of incentive. Okay, not the monetary often, but it is a kind of incentive. The concept of copyright and its implementation is not done in a day. Okay, there are well thought of conventions, meetings, and conferences which were done, and because of those conventions, the copyright implementation was done or is being followed across the world. One of the premier convention was Paris Convention, okay, which was done in actually in 1884. I mean, it became effective, but the original convention was done in 1883. Okay, it was done for protection of industrial property, which says that any person from a signatory state can apply for a patent or trademark in any other signatory state and will be given the same enforcement rights and status as a national of that country would be. So the Paris Convention basically says that if you are going for a patent or you are registering a trademark, it will be applicable across all the countries which are following Paris Conventions, irrespective of only to your country. Okay. Then another important convention was the Berne Convention. Okay, this was for protection of literary and artistic work. Okay, signed at Bern, Switzerland in 1886. Okay, under the leadership of Victor Hugo to protect literary and artistic work. See, what happens is if you go back, Paris Convention was basically for industrial property, whereas the Bern Convention was for literary and artistic work. Okay, so first they thought of protecting industrial rights, then many realized that no, apart from industrial right, we should protect the rights for literary and artistic works, and because of that we had Berne Convention. Okay, this also is similar to your Paris Convention, where each member state recognizes the copyright of authors from other member states in the same way as the copyright of its own nationals. Okay, so all the members recognize copyright, those who follow Paris Convention. Okay, so what happened is because of these two conventions, we had now WIPO. Okay, so WIPO basically what it does is it was created in 1893 after these two conventions. Okay, and the basic idea was to follow to follow these two conventions through WIPO. Okay, so it creates a kind of strategic partnership through carefully formulated national intellectual property strategies. Okay, uh, across the countries and draft policies and objectives for the countries. Okay, it also provides technical expertise and time-to-time advices and supports and assists in implementation of national IP strategies. Okay, so WIPO basically, is a body which implements Paris Conventions and Berne Convention. And apart from that, many of IP related, intellectual property rights related activities it conducts, or new treaties or new conventions it does, it performs, it organizes and implements. Okay, so if you see it as its functions are assisting campaigns development to improve IP protections all over the world and to harmonize national legislations in this field. See, what happens is somebody is registered in India, okay, and then there is a problem. Somebody gets registered same product in some other country. This is what happened with the basmati, famous basmati issue. Okay, basmati is the native product of India. Okay, basmati rice, I'm talking about, which was native product of India, and then some other country was getting it patented. Okay, so under the convention, then there was a suit, and then finally the India won the this thing, uh, the suit. Then signing international agreements on IP protections. Okay, applying the administrative functions of Paris and Bonds Union. Okay, this is most important activity of WIPO. Apart from that, it renders technical and legal assistance to the countries in the field of IP. Okay. Further functions, if you see, It is a body which collects and disseminates the information, conducting research, and publishing their results in the field of intellectual property. Okay, so a lot of researches are being done under the aegis of WIPO in intellectual property rights. Uh, it ensures the work of the services facilitating the international IP protection and applying any other appropriate action related to that. Uh, then another important convention was Madrid Protocol, which came into existence in 1996. Okay, this is basically related to registering trademarks. Okay, so that means under Madrid Protocol, one can apply under WIPO and for a particular trademark, and that trademark will be protected across different countries. Another important treaty is Patent Cooperation Treaty, okay, which was enacted in 1970. This is a central system for obtaining a bundle of national patent applications in different jurisdictions through a single application. So you can file a patent under WIPO PCT, okay, and your patent will be protected across all the member countries. Okay, so this is all about intellectual property rights. So we have gone in detail the various concepts of intellectual property rights, looking into various categories of intellectual property rights and different kinds of intellectual property rights like patents and trademarks, then GI tags, and finally copyrights related to literary work. I hope you would have enjoyed this lecture. Let me know if you have any difficulty or any problem at aditya@bhu.ac.in. Thank you.